So I honestly don't even know where to begin with this game. Maybe we'll start with, what it actually is. That seems like the right thing to do. Fall Guys is a battle royale party game in which you and 59 other players find yourself in a series of courses trying to get to the finish line or be the last few people remaining or even be the best team. But don't worry, we'll get to that very soon. Accomplishing these tasks allows you to qualify and move on to the next round, and the people that didn't qualify will be eliminated and be sent back to the lobby. Kind of like that game, Fortnite? No, it's not like Fortnite. Each round you'll notice that the player count in your lobby is actually dwindling, and make it into a few rounds and keep qualifying and you'll actually make it to the finals, which you have a chance to get the big W. This game has actually blew up after its recent launch, but the question is, why? Why is this game so special, and why have I fell for Fall Guys? Well, let me tell you. Fall Guys feels fresh and replayable, which is how most party games and battle royales should feel. There's something about this game's basic gameplay formula combined with its fun courses, as well as, the battle royale sprinkled in there, and it just makes it work. Losing isn't the most frustrating thing sometimes. But on the other hand, losing isn't as frustrating since you can get in and out of matches pretty damn quickly, and that compensates for what can be some very annoying deaths. Fall Men also has a certain level of chaos to it, such as recreating a scene straight out of World War Z, where everyone is just piling on top of each other, looking at you, DoorDash, which makes the game a good laugh to play, especially with the boys. Wins in this game, like every other battle royale, are extremely satisfying to get, and you really do feel the accomplishment, and for doing so you actually earn a crown, which is another currency in the game, to spend on outfits and patterns for your little jelly bean. Speaking of epic outfits, you can earn another currency called kudos that can buy most of the outfits and patterns in the game, and the jelly bean on top of this is that the battle pass is free.
Are you serious?
Better yet, it's actually easy to level up as well, making it not really feel like a grind at all. So you're probably thinking, well, what are the actual levels like? The courses that you have to qualify on? Well, let me tell you, most of them are fun, and I mean really fun. They're an absolute blast to play with or without friends, but there's just some of them, just these few levels that we just don't talk about. But I'm going to have to talk about them, well, at least a few of them. I'm not going to talk about all the levels in this game because there are quite a few, and I feel like I'll just make a tier list on them or something. You'll be playing all the good levels, having a great time on the game, and then the bad ones just start rolling up, and you load into the level, and there's people trying to grab you, and then there's the RNG bullshit that unfolds, and you just feel like you're going insane. But I guess I'll just mention a few good ones real quick, just to get the thought of the bad ones out my head right now. Any of the races near enough. I mean, Dizzy Heights, Hit Parade, DoorDash, Seesaw, they're all fun. They can be kind of annoying, but like most of the time they are just really fun, and they're a very good first or second round. I enjoy Slime Climb and Fruit Shoot as well, although Fruit Shoot can feel a little RNG, but you know what? It's fun. It is pretty damn fun. It feels like the beaches of goddamn Normandy. Jump Club is another amazing one. That and Slime Climb and like a few of the races are really, really, really fun. And I'm not going to mention any of the finals because don't worry, we're gonna get to them. So not including finals, them courses are what I look the most forward to. Notice how they are only races and survival games, not team modes, and like I said earlier in the video, I will get to it. But first, before we get into that, we've got to talk about some of the As much as I love Fall Guys, there are a very small amount of issues that are annoying that I feel like are worth addressing. Sometimes falling over in this game is extremely frustrating. For example, you'll be on a level of, I don't know, Jump Club, right? Where the beam spins round and you have to jump over it to avoid getting swept off the map. Now, say you jump, sometimes you'll collide with another player and just fall over, but the annoying part is you won't be able to get up in time since you just fell over, and then you just get swept off and subsequently lose because of it. It's also kind of frustrating in a game like Hexagon, which is one of the finals, where falling is very punishable. You'll be, trying to keep on the move and a tile next to you will go or underneath you and you'll trip and fall onto the next platform, but then you don't get up in time, or you land on multiple hexagons, which by the way was out of your control when you fall in, and then you go under another layer again, or like onto another platform, and it just gets kind of frustrating. That's not an issue with the game mode Hexagon, but it is an issue with how annoying falling can be. And I think one more instance where falling is kind of annoying is when you're in a race, let's say Slime Climb for example. It's a very narrow path on that map, and if you fall, you're eliminated straight away. So you and a bunch of other people will all be huddling up together like World War Z, like I mentioned earlier, and then sometimes you'll get knocked over because you're in the middle of the crowd and you'll actually get pushed off the map, which is very frustrating, as you can imagine, because that isn't in your control. It's not your fault. And sometimes when you fall over, you will just get kicked around and you just won't stand up. It is very infuriating. Now, I told you I'd get to them. Team games are about as frustrating as anti-vax mums. They just are not designed very well. It's not just me who feels this way, it's pretty much the whole Fall Guys community. And the biggest reason team games are not really enjoyed much is due to having a team with about the efficiency of a limp penis, and you get eliminated because of them. Let me just reiterate that. You get eliminated because that team, your own team, wasn't doing anything. You could actually be really trying and they just will not cooperate at all. Once again, it's one of them really small little annoyances, since I could just be trying really hard for the team and they're just not pulling their weight, and overall it just feels like it's unfair and completely out of my control. Not to mention how some of the levels are designed as well, like probably the worst team game out there. In fact, no, the worst mode in Fall Guys period is, I think it's called Hoarders. Yeah, Hoarders, where you have to get as many huge balls as you can in your area, and they are way too bouncy. They go where you don't want them to, and it's pretty much a slot machine as to whether you'll win or not. There's no control over it. You could actually be winning in Hoarders, but then all of a sudden, in the last, and I shit you not, about 3 seconds, it just changes. All your balls will be gone, the other team will have them, goodbye, you're not going to qualify. It's very, very bad. The sad thing is, it's like this for most, if not all, team games right now. I feel like there should be a separate playlist where, there's one Fall Guys playlist where there's no team modes and there's one where there is team modes. It would just give you a bit more choice and take out some of the bullshit that is incorporated into the game. Since we're on about teams real quick, I actually thought it was strange, but probably just a coincidence. In my first few matches, I got put in the yellow team and was losing every time. Now bear in mind, I actually didn't go into this game being told that the yellow team suck, so it's not like it's just some weird placebo effect, since I thought the yellow team sucked before I actually looked this up, and turns out other people think the same as well, and it's just weird, Yellow teams suck. Listen, the yellow team sucks more than a hooker does, okay? I seriously just find it strange how they actually perform so poorly compared to the rest of the teams. Even the green team perform better, and they're in one game mode. Moving on to the last and easily most frustrating thing, it's even worse than team games, goddammit, and all I have to do is just say the one word. Hackers. So, you've made it. The finals. You've jumped, dived, and grabbed your way to get here, and the rounds before this were all fun and games, but this is the moment of truth. So let's talk about the finals, shall we? Going into the finals, you'll be given one of 4 levels. We have Royal Fumble, which is basically just a tail grab game, Fall Mountain, Jump Showdown, which is a slight variation of Jump Club, and the best level in the whole of Fall Men, Hexagon. Honestly, Royal Fumble isn't actually that worth talking about, it's just a tail grab variation of the game mode. Only difference is, if you're the last one to have the tail, you actually win, and the course is different. It's still just as annoying as the actual tail grab mode, where you can have it taken off of you in the last few seconds, sometimes even the last second, and it just cheats you out of a win. And honestly, it's just not good. Fall Mountain is an interesting course where you have to do a race to a crown and get past all of the obstacles in the course. It's very similar to the race you probably started on, where there's obstacles to get over, you just gotta make it to the finish line, or in this case it's a crown first. But however, you do have to actually jump and grab the crown. It's so funny seeing people jump and then just completely smack the crown and fall. My only real issue, and this actually drags the course down a lot for me, is with the RNG that the game throws at you when you're doing this. Sometimes the ball obstacles will roll down and it will all go to you. They'll just completely wipe you out. You won't be able to dodge them no matter what you try, costing you the game, unless I just suck. All it takes is to get knocked once and you have most likely lost. What's that? You want some more RNG if that wasn't already enough? So sometimes you might spawn at the back because there's different rows, like in most races. No, all the races actually. So you will spawn at the back and people in the front will get a leg up and like a head start just because of that. You can't control it at all, and it just becomes this big RNG circle jerk. However, I'll give it props for when you run over to the crown and you actually manage to beat someone to it, and the adrenaline that is going through your body is ridiculous. Next up, we have Jump Showdown, which is a finale about pure skill, and that is why I love it. I guess the only annoying thing I can think of here is the platforms falling from underneath you, but one, it just adds more challenge, and 2, you can counter this by making sure you actually go onto the platforms where you can escape easily onto another one that's close by. It gets very intense in the late rounds, and you know, rightfully so, that's what a finale should be like. The beam gets faster and faster as it tries to take you down, and as you jump over it, you feel a small victory. What's interesting to me is the blind spot in this, and what I mean by that is the part where the big beam is covering the smaller beam, which will just completely sweep you off your feet like some kind of Chad on a date. This makes for some interesting gameplay since you can't predict when the beam will come or where you have to actually jump to. Overall, the game mode is one of my favourites. It's both fun and casual, and honestly, it's a very competitive finale as well. It's just great all around. And last but certainly not least, Hexagon. You ever played Spleef from Minecraft? It's that kind of thing, and if you haven't played Spleef, then first off, why? But secondly, I'll explain what Hexagon is. In this game mode, you and a few other beings are put on a grid of hexagons, believe it or not, and this is the real test of pure skill. Don't get too comfortable on those hexagons that you stood on, since they'll disappear from under your feet as you touch them, so you have to be on the move constantly at all times. There are layers of hexagons, so if you fall, you can recover, but fall down too many and you will fall into the pit of all of the review bombs that this game has got and die. It's a last man standing game mode, and that is what makes it so intense. There's an element of PvP that's just drizzled into this one, since you can make hexagons under other players go by just walking in front of them, and they will subsequently drop down a layer, which which is just amazing. And if you don't want to do that, then that's fine. You can focus on your own section. Easily one of the most cheek-clenching game modes in all of Fall Men. Overall, Hexagon is actually my favourite level, and I think it goes to show why. I think it just balances everything perfectly. There's no RNG bullshit, nothing like that. It is what a finale should be. And if you ever find yourself on it in the final, go and make me proud. In conclusion, I love Fall Guys. It's a game that just has so much potential, and I honestly kind of needed a refreshing game like this. It can be both casual and competitive, and for that reason, it just appeals to pretty much anybody. The problem with most battle royales is the skill gap is ridiculously high to the point where people don't want to play the game anymore or won't even dip their toe in the game. Fall Guys is different for doing that. You can actually learn the game, learn where to go in the courses, etc. But you know, you can also just hop in and keep playing and have a good time. And I respect it for that. Does it have its flaws? Oh my god, yes it does. I can't even begin, okay? It has its flaws. But the good stuff about the game really helps balance it out a lot. I think the biggest thing that needs to be fixed first is obviously the hackers. And honestly, overall, I just think that the party game elements mixed in with the battle royale elements, it gels so well together. It just makes it something special. Please smash the like button, comment and subscribe for more. Turn on the notification bell too. This thing took me so long to do. You're probably wondering, what do you rate this game? And my answer to that is 11 out of 10 would jelly bean again.
I got some jelly beans.